Que los venerados padres y madres que nunca se olviden a decirles y enseñarles a sus hijos mientras vivan precisamente cuán buena ha sido hasta ahora nuestra amada Anáhuac, todo lo que nuestro corazón ama. Sabemos que es nuestro tesoro como una piedra de esmeralda. Cuauhtémoc, Hue, Tlatuani, Tenochtitlán, México, 1521.
Dame ese pinche botella de tequila. Ya me voy bien ahogado. Luna, el sol, plata, oro, mano a mano, santa, santo, frío, calor, sola, solo, pena, dolor, una, amor, luna, el sol, plata, oro, mano a mano, santa, santo, frío, calor, sola, solo, pena, dolor, una. 5 consejos de mi padre, la vida del madre, la pura y no se pare, aztecas en mi sangre, son mis comandantes, cuando me levantes, alma centellante, pa' atrás y pa' adelante, humor inconstante, fumando flagrante, flores de mi plantaje, quiere mi vasallaje, no paras mi venaje, que en tu mente vacante, mi sabor picante, Picasso y muy grande, términos terminantes, canto cerebrante, confiar en mis compadres, familia respetable, claro mi mensaje, son irrecusables, rolas arrogantes, mi arte brillante, niños tirantes, persano salvaje, vivo modulante, muertos un instante, amor interminable, ritmos interesante, mente preguntante, nación reedificable, luna, el sol, plata, oro, mano a mano, santa, santo, frío, calor, sola, solo, pena, dolor, una, amor, luna, el sol, plata, oro, mano a mano, santa, santo, frío, calor, sola, solo, pena, dolor, una, amor.
Police came in and it was a field trip day, a day that like she was supposed to chaperone for like the first time, and like we had talked about this before, that like she wasn't allowed to be in this country and like because of papers. Like I didn't even know what papers meant, just like whatever. I was really attached to her, and like even now it's really hard for me. I feel like as a teenager, like during this time, I really need her, and yeah, I feel like Danza has really helped me a lot as like a family, just like because
That's okay.
sorry,
Just take your time.
yeah, Danza has really helped me cope with it. With my dad, I know like he can't really take the role of a mother, even if he like really tried. I mean, he can do half, but he can't give me the love that a mother can give me. So being around a lot of women in Danza has helped me so much, and it's helped me learn things that I probably would have never learned at home. And I think it's helped me grow as a person, and I'm so grateful for that. It's changed me. I feel like if I wouldn't have been in Danza, I probably wouldn't be as focused in school, or I don't really know, but I know that for sure I think differently because of it. I'm a lot more open-minded. They teach you things like giving back to your community and like always like doing good things for others, and like I take that in. They treat you so well that like I love being there.
Danza Azteca is a tradition that has been given to us by our ancestors. It's the way we represent our culture.
The traditional dancing that was passed on from one generation to the next of the Azteca Mexica lineage.
From what I understand and I know, It's pretty much dances that my ancestors used to do back in Mexico City back when Aztecs were around.
The Aztecas were Mexica. First they were Aztecas and then they were Mexicas. So I think it's what's left, it's what the traditions that we follow that has been left to us after generation of passing down the danza and the traditions and the culture.
It's a mechanism for us to honor the four directions, to honor the Creator, to pray.
Y ellos trajeron a la fundación a México, el Gran Tenochtitlan. Ahí ellos hacían ritos, danzas.
I always saw the expression of danza as a spiritual manifestation. I never saw it so much as a political movement when I was doing danza. It wasn't about fighting for my expression of it, although that was important, but more importantly was my connection to the sacred movements.
It's a roadmap for us to live our lives. It's a lot of different things.
A group of like-minded people that come together and learn about who they are from being, Minnesota. It's kind of hard to do that when Mexico's so far away. And so coming together as Danza Azteca, it gives you a chance to be with like-minded people.
Who are you? What are you going to be? So it's all this search and need for answers and understandings of life and so forth. So identity and culture play a part because obviously we can look at ourselves and see that we're brown and have our own traits that are so beautiful.
So, high school, wait, what year are you in?
I'm a junior. Yeah. I'm taking PSEO classes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like them, but I feel a little disconnected from high school.
Well, I mean, high school is, has its up and downs, but I feel like once you take college classes, you're gonna be so over high school.
Yeah.
When are you gonna start leading this practice?
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, so many times. Actually, I think if Phil's not coming, I might lead today. I'm gonna do danza for my school.
For your school?
Mm-hmm.
How many people are going to them?
I'm not sure, but it gets sold out. Yeah.
Oh, it's like after school? So,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah, it's a show that we have every single year. It's so good.
What do you want people to get out of what you're going to show them?
It's okay to be proud of your culture and don't be ashamed. Yeah, because I've seen that so many times and I think it's kind of sad. Some people don't want to speak Spanish just because they don't want people to know they're Hispanic or something. So right now I'm putting on my chachayotes, and before that we put on leg warmers, or else they usually kind of cut us with the leather, so it helps us from that.
Our group's name is Kalpulio Senoshli, and for us, when we started dancing and created this group, we weren't actually expecting to create a group. We weren't like, we didn't wake up one day and said, hey, we're going to have a Kalpuli or a danza group. So I think it organically kind of created itself as far as our vision as a group, but we know we would like to dedicate, or we are dedicating ourselves into lifelong learning of the philosophy, the dancing, the singing, the drumming, and traditional teachings that have been passed down through our teachers in Mexico and here in the U.S. So our philosophy is just life preserving, promoting, and lifelong learning of the traditions of the Mexica culture.
Ahorita vamos a entrar al círculo, a donde es la práctica de las danzas aztecas, a pedir permiso para que me dejen entrar. Se me da el permiso cuando se paran ellos y me dan un lugar donde yo estoy de acuerdo a cómo está formado el círculo.
Dancing, obviously, and that's when someone thinks of danza azteca, they immediately think of the dancing. But doing this for the amount of years, for over 10 years, and doing it with our children and preserving them within our family, I think it's truly building a community, not just for ourselves, but for our kids, that they see other danza groups, see other calpulis, and know that, oh, okay, it's a normal kind of community building for them.
We are not religious. We are a cultural group that we focus on accurate history. We focus on the teaching of the Tonalpoali, the sciences, the codices, the language, and the danza and song.
It is our way of life. We've been doing it for our whole lives. Like even when I was a kid, when I was 5, I always had it in my life.
When somebody asks me, oh, what's your race, what's your ethnicity, I say, oh, I'm Mexican and Filipino. You know, and I don't want to keep one out or make one more important. I just want it to be equal, because that's who I am. I'm both Filipino and Mexican, not just Latino.
Yep. So we use that, and then we also incorporate the tepo, so then we will be playing the same rhythm, Iztacuautli, with the tepo and the flutes.
People my age are trying to find out who they are and what they want to become and where their path is in life. And, Danza has helped me through that because, we've learned our history of our people and our roots. And for example, in the textbooks in school, they don't have any of that. They only have, the Aztecs killed people and threw people off of hills, and that, for me, that wasn't, when I learned about who I really was, it made me proud, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to go, this is who I am, I want to continue doing danza, I want to continue doing my roots, so.
Porque en estos tiempos la mayoría de los jóvenes que no saben sus raíces, que no saben de dónde vienen, no saben a dónde van. Son fáciles de perderse, son muy fáciles de perderse porque tienden a seguir todo lo que hacen los demás, todos los que hacen los demás. Entonces, más sin embargo, uno de nuestros jóvenes que está desde chico aprendiendo de su cultura, que sabe sus raíces, sabe bien de dónde viene y no se pierde fácilmente. Él está aquí se tiene sus raíces, él sabe dónde está, sabe hacia dónde va.
The teachings are so universal that it can be applied to any nation because it really talks about respect, and it talks about how to be a good mother and how to be a good father and how to be a good member of your community. And that's bigger than danza. That's truly building a community of a new generation of conscious people, to be conscious of the earth and the water and everything that surrounds us, to be respectful.
So my name is Yolanda Martinez. I am with Calpuli Quetzalcoatlicue, which is a local group here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Our philosophy kind of has been transforming since its beginnings. It started in 2000 with Susana de Leon as our capitana or our instructor. Then along the way it started transforming as we started finding more maestros and maestras who taught us about what the true meaning of this road is. Se llama el Camino Rojo, or the Red Road, in which we're learning to, or relearning, I guess, to learn about our own danzas, about our own traditions. And now it's become a Calpuli, which is a community of learning, a safe space for all of our dancers where we can learn authentically about the danza and what it means within the danza community, because it's very complex. When there is a ceremony, it is in a circle. And around the circle there are the drums and then the conch shells and also the, I guess you can call it a chalice, but it's a salmerio. And within the circle there is definitely an order, and that order is trying to maintain a closed circle, a balanced circle. And if you look at the codices, that's what it has. They'll have a structure where there is a circle and the drums are around it. We have a sargento who is kind of in charge of ensuring that there is a balance. There is a primera palabra and segunda palabra, first and second word, who are in charge of ensuring that the whole ceremony is going how it should be going. People are not getting tired or overtired. Tercera palabra, who is the one who's ensuring that the circle is moving. And in that you're creating some energy. And with that energy, you're living in the present moment, but at the same time you're reliving some of the danzas that have been passed down to our ancestors, from our ancestors. And I guess before it all opens, before the circle opens, you call the four directions. And so you're, in that way, you're calling your abuelos and you're asking them to be here, present in this moment. And you're also asking for permission, because obviously these dances, they're not yours, they're not ours, they were passed down. So our belief is that, if we're gonna take something, we need to ask for permission, and then at the end, give thanks. So we also close it the same way. We ask, we go to the four directions and we say thank you, and also, kind of that belief where if you're gonna take something, that you return it in a better condition.
So there's a lot of other instruments. Because of this project is Se Iñola Intlapitzali, so we're just focusing on flutes, but we're going to learn more other instruments too.
I rarely see any of the circles playing any other music besides the drum in the dance circles.
I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, The music is a part that's still missing. So I formed this Minnesota Flute Project to help promote instrument making and danza to somehow become one, where in our past our ancestors utilized the music, not just the drums, but other instruments to be part of that celebration and ceremony.
So from here, once we learn the technique, we can explore and reinterpret as contemporary people,
When I look at the reference in the danza circles from the Mexica and the Maya, they always have the drums, the huehuet, the ponatzli, flutes, rattles, horns, trumpets, gourds, and other various instruments that have been forgotten about.
You can see just by looking at them that they have different stories, that they're different animals and different figures, different human figures. Like, I'll use this one as an example. This one is one that my husband made. Unfortunately, in the kiln, you can't ever control what happened, so the legs broke off, so he's going to redo it. But it's a turtle, and on top it has a precious sign. The precious sign that is jade with a water dot inside. And all of those, it's like poetry. You know, our ancestors were really beautiful poets, so it's all allegory and synonymous with each other. So the jade means precious because it was one of the most precious things.
I think this flute project is reintroducing other instruments back to the danza circles.
This one here, the death, you know, you can hear that it has a different story. So that's the breath of life, which without the breath of life is death. So that's why wind and death are kind of connected to each other in that way.
Le cuento un pedazo de chocolate. No, está bien.
Y un poco adentro de abajo.
¿Cuánto tiempo le tomó hacer la primera?
Un día. 3 horas, pues.
We're disconnected by time and space from our ancestors, so sometimes it's impossible to know exactly what sounds were produced, but the instrument always tells the story because it has certain limitations of what sounds it can produce. So when we started playing with the instrument, then we found, oh yeah, that's definitely the sound of a woman giving birth. It's La Llorona, that's what it is.
This is my studio. This is where I do all my visual art, my paintings, and I've been here now for about 12 years. There's a lot of great elements that come in Danza, and it fits in very well with our indigenous journeys that we decide to take. The most empowering in your life as you grow up is, first of all, your upbringing through your parents. You know, what did they teach you? What were the lessons they gave you? What do you recollect? What do you carry? What are the things that you need to carry forward? What are the bad things you need to grow out of and bury, so that those the negative things don't get carried over to other generations. And as we understand life, we understand death and how that plays a part. And through some of the teachings, you know, it's not about even our time, it's about our deeds and what we do and what we leave. You know, it's conceptual in the beginning, and then it's explorational, and then it becomes more structured, and then philosophy gets attached to it and beliefs. For me, because I have had the Mexican experience down in the Zócalo, was much different than the expression up here. It seemed a little bit more political, politically driven, and somewhat overly structured. Ultimately, what I'd like to see Danza do is create change within our own community, so that the tools of change is obviously engagement in the wider society.
We are Calpulli Huitzilin, and we started about 4 years ago. And we really wanted to do a lot of personal ceremonies. And so then that was kind of a few like-minded people kind of thought, oh, let's start this group and get our families involved, so really family-oriented. Well, I started Danza when I was here at St. Cloud State getting my undergrad. And when I came here, it was very culture shock, you know, just being away from the Twin Cities where there were a lot more Latinos. And then I came here and it was like, oh my gosh, where are my people? When I first started, my dad was really hesitant about supporting it because when he was growing up, they were taught very different things about if you're Indian, you're bad and you're dirty and you're that. And so when he dropped me off at the airport, I remember he wasn't very supportive about me going and learning about, you know, Aztec culture. And then the more that he kind of came around and came to ceremonies, he was more interested. And so now he dances and he loves it. Well, in our group, we actually have quite a bit of young youth in our group, and even 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and we just love it because they're so fortunate to have that be part of their growing up and hearing the drum as a baby. Where we didn't have that. You know, I didn't start until I was a teenager. Teens are so influential that having positivity in their life is really only a benefit. And so learning about who they are, where they came from, and learning it in a safe place is really important for the kids. So we love having youth in our group because we know that it's a nice, positive place for them to be.
It's not just a dance or a performance to me. It's like a way for me to open my mind, my body, my heart, my soul to something that I can't fully grasp. It helped me shape my identity when I was in high school. That's when I joined, when I was a freshman, so I was like maybe 15 years old when I joined Danza. And I was kind of lost in high school, and when I found Danza, it kind of put me on a different path than I would have gone if I hadn't joined Danza, because Danza kept me occupied with all the, you know, batallas that we had, and Danza gave that like foundation to what it means to be a Chicana and what it means to be an Indigenous woman, and own that, because I always used to call myself like Hispanic and Latino, but like now that I realize those terms really don't identify with me, it's Chicana that really identifies like who I am. It also opened up my spirituality as well, because when I first started it, I was doing confirmation for my quinceañera, and Danza just really influenced a lot of things. And so like with that, I was, you know, taking confirmation classes and learning about the Bible and God and stuff. And it's like, with Danza, it helped me interpret it in a different way, that I was able to like really try to love everyone. And although I still have trouble with it sometimes, I'm still learning. And you know, when I'm away from Danza up at school, it makes it really hard because I don't have a way to release that energy and get some new energy, you know what I mean? And yeah, but Danza has been just it's meant a lot to me.
Danza's changed my life tremendously. Learning to just be balanced on a day-to-day basis. It comes from, you know, the teachings of Mateo, you know, of learning to grow and just learning to be not happy, not sad, just balanced. My grandfather, he came to Minnesota from Mexico with the philosophy of his dad. His dad said, you know, you leave Mexico, you take Mexico with you wherever you go. And so that's always been with us. And so being in Estrada, it kind of helps because my grandfather speaks Nahuatl and can read it, and he's taught, you know, all of us to be Indigenous no matter where we go. He goes, you can go across the big ocean, but you're still going to be a Mexican. Teachings can be lost. And I've seen that in other cultures, and I don't want that with my children. I want to know as much about my people as I can, so when my children ask me questions, I have an answer for them. I just don't have the I don't know philosophy. I want to know who my people were and what they did, and so I can tell my children that they can grow up to be strong Mexican women.
I've talked to so many danzantes, and we say, oh, it's the life of a danzante. You're busy, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're excited, you're energetic. I mean, you're busy, but you love it. It's part of your life. It's who we are.
Mexica Yolot was born 5 years ago here in Minnesota. And it was a creation between me and my significant other at the time, Jefe Tenoch Cortez España. He's the other leader of this group. And the idea came of how we can represent what we're trying to do here in the States with the generations here in the other side of the river. And it was the Mexican heart. So there is in our young ones, the youth, the ones that were born here, they always kind of mislead of their background a lot. So this was a way for them to connect to the parents' background, and in some ways it's also their roots too. So Mexica Yolo, which means Mexican heart, it's part of you. Danza is actually part of my life now. It has changed in many different ways. To become a danzante is not just to get up there and look pretty, you know, in a costume and feathers, everything has a meaning. So to be a danzante, it's the way you live, the way you carry yourself day in and day out. It's not in a representation, or it's not just only in a ceremony, it's how you go on a day-to-day basis. It has changed my life. Now everything involves danza. Everything around my life, it's about danza, about taking care of the creation, taking care of and teaching and putting our elders' information, you know, to the youth nowadays, and try to work together to have a final goal of having the Latino community feel proud of the roots. I'm a very strong believer that once you understand where you come from, you have a better direction of where you want to go. I think that a lot of youth and newer generations, we tend to kind of lose that path of feeling proud of who we are and the color of our skin and our background. So when I, for instance, having a 16-year-old, she at once asked me, so what am I? I was born in the United States, I'm American for that, but I'm Mexican, am I Mexican? She was asking herself, and she was asking me, like, am I Mexican because you're Mexican and my dad is Mexican? So it was all that mixture of our youth being kind of confused to what is their identity, what is it? And her being part of Danza now, she's very proud to be Latina. And she understands the difference, that she's proud to be a citizen of the United States, though her roots are very Latina because both of her parents are Mexican. And she understands now more deeply what a Latina represents. We're not affiliated with any church. The way we put out danza is culturally, so it's not, you can be Christian, you can be Catholic, you can be whatever religion. We don't involve that in our dance group. We do have our ways of doing our ceremonies, and but we don't put that kind of, you need to be this, you need to believe in this. You know, people have their own beliefs about church, so we're not affiliated with them in that sense. So this is called the Atecocoli, and this is the way we call the danzantes ready for our ceremony to start, and this is how we will call them. And this is the sound that we make before every performance, every ceremony. This is the way we call our elements of life too, to be part of our ceremony. We're right here in front of the altar. The altar is for our oratorio. This is called the oratorio. This is where we can come and ask the Creator to guide us, to help us. And this is where the danzantes also often come and do their prayers, ask for their own, for health, for well-being. And this is our own little place. So we use copal, and copal is used to cleanse the atmosphere, to cleanse our hearts, to cleanse the energy. And the way we do it, you take a big bite, and out of respect for Mother Earth, we do a little cross on top, and then we burn it. And the smoke, that's what it does. It cleans the whole place where we are.
you.
Dile hola.
Hola.
¿Vos andás acá afuera o Yeah. Danza Azteca changed my life pretty much. I was in this as a little kid, since I was like in 4th, 5th grade. Started learning new stuff like my culture. Yeah, there was one time when I was a teenager, I was pretty much in the wrong direction and got involved with gangs and stuff. And some of the members of Aslan pretty much were, you know, out there like telling me, you know, encouraging me to leave that life. You know, just felt like they were my brothers and sisters, just showing me the right path.
Bueno, nosotros aquí ya a nuestra danza, el nombre es Aztlán, que su significado es Laguna de Garzas Blancas. Sí, entonces nosotros la formamos este grupo acá porque es más, no es tan, es cultural y a la vez es religioso. Porque en nuestro pueblo ahí está un santito que se llama San Pablo Apóstol y allá se venera cada 25 de enero.
I don't know, I feel like I haven't still learned everything of my culture. I just learned bits here and there. I read books. Parents taught me a little about my culture. I don't know, I feel like I didn't learn it. I didn't learn enough of my culture from down there. Still trying to find more about my culture, actually.
Las que me trajeron a este país, las circunstancias económicas, el trabajo, sí, pero por eso permanezco aquí en Estados Unidos y la sigo practicando porque es algo que pues ahora sí somos de esa raíz y a mí me gusta lo que es la danza. Como les digo, en México yo no estaba involucrado porque en México hay bastantes danzas. Del pueblo donde yo soy, que se llama Suchiapa, Morelos, están las contradanzas, las moros, los sopilotes, los tecuanes. Entonces son como 6, 7 grupos de danza, los vaqueros, ¿sí? Entonces yo me involucraba en otros, pero en esto sí me gustaba, me llamaba la atención, pero no me metí nunca a danzar. Le digo, y aquí pues me involucré por lo mismo que formaron el grupo de San Pablo Apóstol.
Zapata vive, la lucha sigue. Osma!
Revolution, both on the armor, time to get it on. Invade the border, black flag, red star, son and my daughter. Indigenous warrior, never be a soldier. Revolution, both on the armor, time to get it on. Invade the border, black flag, red star, son and my daughter. Indigenous warrior.
There's a few different ideas of danza and how it came to Minnesota, but I know that for us, for the group that I danced with, there was a hunger strike that took place at St. Cloud State University some time ago in the 90s, and we're approaching the 20-year anniversary, I believe. So during that hunger strike, some of the students from Mecha and St. Cloud wanted to learn more about their indigenous culture, and particularly the Chicano Latino students wanted to learn more about what it meant to be indigenous as a Mexican American, and so they started to learn from some folks and brought that to St. Cloud and then later to the Twin Cities.
Globalization, Colombia is corrupting. Assassins paid for by the Coca-Cola company. Economies of the third world kind.
Danza is very, very important to me because it has become the roadmap of kind of how I've chosen to live my life. The work that I do, the art that I make, everything that I do has a lot to do with the same values in the indigenous framework that you're taught when you become a danzante. And, you know, thinking of your community first, thinking of your family first, you know, thinking of Mother Earth as a citizen rather than, you know, an unseen entity, and therefore we have power and control over her. You know, for me, Danza has really put that into perspective, in that we need to be servants to the earth, and we need to be servants to our community and to our people, and do the work that is beneficial for humanity, not just not just humanity, but also talking about all of the different species on the earth, the plants, the animals, the air, all of those things, the elements that we need to take care of and be responsible for and be stewards for. So Danza has really impacted my life and put those kind of things into perspective. There's a concept of interculturalism, where you need to understand yourself and your cultural identity, and then that will help you and prepare you to be able to receive and share with others in their culture and their cultural identity when they express that. So to me, knowing who we are and where we came from is always of vital importance into how you're going to move in the present and then, therefore impacting your future. So I think it's very important for people to just know that about themselves. And I'll be the first, I'll be the first one to say it doesn't always have to happen through Danza. That's how it happened for me. That's how, that's how it happened for my wife, and that's how it's happening for my family. But there's other ways for people to connect to their cultural identity and to their cultural roots. But this is just one form of that. But I think that in order to maintain strong identity, and when you have that identity, no one can come in and take anything away from you. No one can come in and start to convince you that you're not worthy.
Protect the family. Take off the shades, homie, let the sun rays show me who's really down or who's the enemy. Vato, let's cruise the boulevard frames. Straight pancakes, sparks fly from my tailpipe tips. No disrespect to the southern style, but I know ride on these rims in the 13-inch. Everything I do, bro, represents the crew, bro. From the cosmic to the straight.
I'm in a band called Los Nativos with another member, Chilam Balam, and when I perform with Los Nativos, rappers always have a secret identity, so I took the name Felipe Cuauhtli. Cuauhtli is also the name that I was given through Danza, Cuica Cuauhtli, which means the singing eagle, which has a lot to do with the art that I do with my music. But my name being in Nahuatl and Chilam Balam, the speaker of the Jaguar people, is what Chilam Balam means, being in Mayan language. Both of us have always identified with being indigenous. Both have identified with the Mexica and the Maya culture since very, very young. I was raised in the house with both parents, so still have a very strong African-American black connection and roots. But started making music with Chilam, and we started out as the native ones. At the time, my personal story, and it's probably different for Chilam, but my personal story was that I was trying to find a way to express that other half of me. I felt like up until that point, my dad was a part of a group that was looking to start a chapter of the Black Panthers here in Minnesota a very long time ago in the late 60s, early 70s. So I grew up in a household learning a lot about black culture, and so my mom wasn't like how my dad was, and my dad was very much like, taught me how to understand and identify things that were a part of black culture, but my mom just did. It took me, I didn't understand that. I learned everything about being Mexicano, Mexican-American, Chicano from my mom. At the time, I didn't realize that until later on. My dad, even being black, not speaking any Spanish, called me mijo. Why? Because that's what my mom called me. Or my dad knew how to eat with tortillas rather than a fork and spoon, because that's how my family ate when my mom cooked. But I didn't understand at the time that that was very much from being Mexicano. My mom doesn't speak any Spanish at all. You know what I mean? So around the time that I started performing or creating music with Los Nativos, I was at a point in my life where I was trying to express that part of me. And so Los Nativos came. I wanted to be able to talk about issues in the black community, but I also wanted to be able to talk about issues in the Chicano community and maybe say something in Spanish or maybe so. But I didn't feel comfortable enough to do that on my own. And so when performing or when starting to make music with Chilam was how I started to have that outlet. But I've always come from a background of conscious thought and identity and awareness and stuff. So it just was, no matter who I make music with, that's what it's gonna be like. The symbols are very important to the traje, and there's a lot of families that take a lot of time and care into being like the practitioners, or like the ones that we go to for these kind of things. So for one, you can kind of start to nowadays you can go down and give people your symbols and your energy, and so that gets incorporated to the traje. Because all of the pieces, that's why it helps to have like the top piece too, but all of the pieces have different significance. And Mikitzli, the symbol of the death, but he's wearing a headdress which symbolizes being, you know, a danzante, being a warrior. This isn't like a negative energy or negative imagery at all. And also the fact that it was made in black and white is kind of significant too, because there's no real color to it except for that. So like when you wear that traje is very, it stands out a lot. Like, you know, so whenever it's being danced, it needs to be danced with that kind of intention or that kind of energy. So for us as indigenous people, Mikitzli, the energy of the death is the energy of renewal also. You know, it's a dying of something old and becoming something new. It's transformation, it's transformative. It's that space where, you know, where things change and things happen, that death of something and birth into something else.
Lights are gonna be dimmed, and we're gonna sing Apache. We're gonna yell out, "Que viva la justicia! Que viva justicia! Que viva justicia!" I'm really excited. I'm like really proud of this, and like I'm so excited to show them what I do and stuff. Yeah. Happy I did that. Yeah. Thank you for everything.
Danza es armonía, danza es ciencia, danza es filosofía, danza es matemáticas, física, química. Danza es todo. Danza no es solo religión. Danza no es religión. Danza es mucho más que eso. Danza es la rebelión. Danza es el grito de la gente que quiere saber más. Que quieres conocer su historia. Danza es el tratar de regresar a nuestros orígenes. Danza es el quererse a sí mismo. Danza es el amar a nuestra propia raza. Danza es el portar con orgullo tu nombre, tu sangre, el tener identidad. Y impulsa bastante a la gente a ser guerrera, a ser líderes, a ser gente informada, gente que sabe a dónde va, que sabe de dónde viene, porque es lo más importante. Tenemos que recordar que si la gente no sabe de dónde viene, jamás va a saber para dónde va. Y danza es lo que nos trae nuestra historia, nos trae nuestra historia verdadera, nos trae lo que nos han ocultado por mucho tiempo. Y nos trae las ganas de seguir buscando, de seguir adelante y sentirte orgulloso de ser mexicano. Y por eso somos Danzantes por Amor.
Tailpipe tips, no disrespect to the southern style, but I know ride on these rims.